What's up everybody? I'm coming to you today with another bluegrass flat picking lick, this time from Jerry Garcia. And Jerry Garcia, of course, before he was in the Grateful Dead, was actually a bluegrass musician. His first instrument was the banjo, and he played in primarily bluegrass bands up until the founding of the Grateful Dead. And Jerry Garcia was heavily influenced by Doc Watson's playing, and also by Arthur Guitar Boogie Smith, who carried over into Jerry's approach to the guitar with the Grateful Dead. And Arthur Smith was actually credited with writing the famous tune Dueling Banjos, which is possibly one of the most famous melodies in all of bluegrass music. And of course, Jerry was hugely influential with the kind of newgrass revival movement of the 1970s with, Peter Rowan and David Grisman. And a lot of the bluegrass bands you hear today, you'll notice a lot of crossover with the Grateful Dead. And so that's why now if you go and see, Green Sky Bluegrass or the infamous String Dusters, you're gonna hear a Grateful Dead tune or two. And this lick we're looking at today is gonna be in the key of D out of the open D position, which is really cool because you could easily throw a capo on the 2nd fret and play this out of the C position, but as my brother Mitch likes to always remind me, Jerry never used a capo. So we're gonna be playing this out of the open D chord position. So I hope you enjoy this one, and let's check it out. All right, let's take a look at this Jerry Garcia lick now. And this, I chose this lick specifically because it really uses a lot of what I consider to be kind of signature Jerry Garcia licks and runs. So we're playing out of the D position here, the D major position. So we're going to be starting kind of with an open D chord shape, or at least part of it. And we're going to start with a 3-note pickup here, and it's going to be 2nd fret G to 4th fret G to 2nd fret G. And that's gonna start on an upstroke. And we're gonna land on a downstroke on the 3rd fret B, right when that D chord hits, so right on the downbeat of the first measure. That's kind of a cool little starting lick right there that you hear in a lot of bluegrass tunes. And then from there, we're going to play on an upstroke, 4th fret G again to 2nd fret G. You can see we're just kind of holding this kind of D chord shape here. And if you watch Jerry Garcia play a lot, you'll notice that he likes to hold these kind of chord shapes and sort of solo around them. And you'll see that 2nd fret G, that's on an 8th note, so there's a slight gap there. And then we're going to repeat that phrase again, 3rd fret B on an upstroke, 4th fret G, 2nd fret G. And when you hit that gap in between those two phrases, I like to kind of let off the vibration with my left hand, but you can emphasize your playing that way by just kind of letting off your left hand very slightly when you hit that 8th note. Okay, and then from there, we're still in this kind of D chord shape here that we're playing with our index finger and our middle finger. We're going to hit that 4th fret D now on a downstroke, followed by 2nd fret G on an upstroke. Still holding this chord here. So we're just going to kind of stretch and hit that 4th fret D with our ring finger. And then from here, we're going to kind of a little bit get away from this open D chord shape that we've been holding. And we're going to play a 3rd fret D to 4th fret D, even though we're still kind of planted with our index finger here on that 2nd fret G. See that 2nd fret G there on a downstroke. So that index finger on that 2nd fret G hasn't moved at all. It's been planted there throughout this entire lick so far. Okay, and then from there we're going to play 3rd fret D to 2nd fret D. and then a pull off there on that 2nd fret D. And you'll see we're finally away from the 2nd fret G where we were planting it with our index finger. We're going to have to kind of get away from that now when we play this descending line on the D string. And right after that pull off, you'll see 2nd fret A on an upstroke to open A on a downstroke. And when we get to that open A, we're actually going to be over an A chord. So this goes from a D for the first measure to an A to a D for the 2nd measure. Okay, and right when we land on that open A, you're going to see a series of notes here, and this is sort of a chromatic run that I've seen Norman Blake do a lot. This is kind of a signature Norman Blake type of a run here, but what we're going to do is we're going to play a chromatic run out of the A chord into the D chord. And we're going to do that starting on the open A string to 2nd fret A. This is where it gets chromatic, so we're going to go to 3rd fret A and then 4th fret A. And of course, we're going to land on the open D, which is going to indicate the D chord at the end of measure number 2. And then a lot of times out of habit, I'll just actually go to the D chord. I'm not playing it, but my fingers on my left hand automatically kind of go there because I know as the musician and as the listener, that's the chord that I'm implying. And if you wanted to just keep this in the key of D instead of going to the A, all you'd have to do here at the end of measure number 1, going into measure number 2, instead of landing on that open A, you could just land on an open D. So you could play the lick this way. And then you're landing on that open D, and that'll kind of just keep you in the key of D. So you could actually use this lick over any song in the key of D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for checking out this lesson today. If you'd like to download the tab sheet for free, head on over to my website, brandonjohnsonguitar.com. I also offer an all-access membership where you can get access to every single lesson that I've ever made. So head on over to the website and check it out. We'll see you there.